Yeah, it's part of a Golden Jubilee back in 2002. I was a Blue Peter presenter then, so a long time ago.
I remember.
And she came to visit the BBC, and the two organisations of the BBC she visited were BBC News and Blue Peter. So this was the moment she arrived at Television Centre, and this was me. I was the last in the line, and I'd been given by the programme the duty of handing the Queen a gold Blue Peter badge.
Oh my
and the amusing thing was, about half an hour before she came, her sort of press secretary
she's
comes
smiling.
around. I know.
She's laughing.
Well, I made her laugh.
Look happy there, Simon.
Do you know how I made her laugh?
Go on.
Well, we were asked, what are you going to say, by her press secretary, and she was a very forthright woman. And when I initially said my line, she said, you cannot say that. I'll come back in 10 minutes, think of something different. So I was panicking. So I had these rehearsed lines ready. And she came back and said, if you stick to those words, you can say them. But I thought, actually, when we do it, you can't really change what I'm going to say. But so I did. And I just basically said, Your Majesty, on behalf of the programme, I'd like to give you the programme's highest honour, which is a gold Blue Peter badge. Not that she needs a gold Blue badge. She's got plenty of gold.
It's a nice touch, though, isn't it?
And I just said at the end, Your Majesty might be interested to know you can get into the Tower of London free with this. And she chortled. And the interesting thing was, afterwards, the appetite for a conversation with me about how did you make the Queen laugh, like no one else has made the Queen laugh in history, rubbish, was huge. I said, well, I just told her this little joke.
How are you feeling? Were you calm, though, going into it? Because it's quite an address, isn't it? You know,
do you know that the two biggest emotions, the ones I remember, and I was thinking about this over the last few days, is that when you first see her, there's this huge feeling of familiarity. When she walked in the studio in that bright outfit, it's like it's your grandma. I feel like I know this person. She's been part of my life from the moment I entered this world. And then it dawns on you, it's the Queen. And I remember that the person third from last, was Liz Barker, who I was presenting with alongside Matt Baker and Connie Huck. And each of us were asked, like I was, to tell a story. Mine was a joke, but other people asked to tell a story. And Liz had done this amazing film where she'd been out to Auschwitz with a group of school children to mark a Holocaust anniversary. So she was very briefly going to tell the Queen that she'd been on this trip. But you could see as she came down this long line of previous presenters and old editors, this kind of nervousness taking everyone over. By the time she got to Liz Barker, the then editor, Steve Hocking, said, this is Liz Barker. And Liz is about to begin her story. And she just blurted out, I've been to Auschwitz. And the Queen just went, oh, how lovely, and moved straight on to Matt Baker. So poor old Liz. For the rest of her time on Blue Peter, that was always our go-to line when we were Mickey taking. But yeah, it's one of those moments where you feel so familiar, like I know this person, and then you go, my goodness me,
then it dawns
it's
on
the
you.
Queen.
Yeah. And, of course, Tessa, you haven't met the Queen, but you've met the now King Charles III.
Early on, and actually, in keeping with the debate this morning, I met... Have you got the photo? I don't know if you got the photo there, but I met King Charles III in Scotland. I think it's called Clattering Shores, somewhere in Dumfries and Galloway. There we are. And now you'll see my mum there. We've also talked about this, Simon. So that's Charles. He was not bad looking in the day, but I'm looking really nonplussed.
Is this you right at the front?
Yeah, I've got the pigtails. I'm a natural blonde.
What else is going to happen? Who else is coming?
Right, but wait a minute. So in that picture, you've got my big brother up on the dike. He's never going to recover from that position. OK, you've got my mum, super English Anglican. She married a Scot, just craning in towards Prince Charles. And me going, where is Diana? Because he was about to get married. And I wanted the princess. I wasn't interested in some prince, do you know? And you'll see also, the photo's gone now, but my mum's holding on to her coronation flag, because when she was a girl of the same age as me, she was at the 1953 coronation.
Do you see? At the bottom there.
And that was, do you know, of all the glamorous things they talked about, that was it.
Did you just totally ignore him?
Yeah, I just was going, where's the princess?
It looks like it from the picture.
Yeah, I was. And then, and Mum went, I can remember, I was so embarrassed, even at that age, Mum went, I had this flag at your mother's coronation. I was just like, and Prince Charles King Charles, he was Prince then, looked down. I've said this story, I'm sure, maybe even here, so forgive me if you've heard this story before. And he looked down, and in keeping with his kind of, woodsy eco image, he went, I'm surprised the moth haven't got it. Like this. And Mum went, because she was like one of those English people who lives in Scotland, like a really proud adopted Scot. She went, in Scotland, it's too cold for moth. Like this. I was just...
This is brilliant.
What a story.